All right. Okay. Well, welcome. So, some of you are going to be here live and some of you are going to be watching on the replay, but I'm so excited that we're here talking together tonight. I have my friends Kelly and Brittany, who are also part of LEMD. And I'm going to let Kelly kind of tell you about LEMD, but just to kind of tell you what we're doing here tonight, we want to share our stories with you about peptides, about how they have really changed our lives, and really brought us to LEMD. And we have so much to share with you. We want to talk to you about, what they can do for you, answer any questions that you might have. And if you're watching this on the replay, please feel free to reach out to myself or to these ladies to answer your questions for you. Also on LEMD, the website, there are so many informative. I know, like if I scroll to the bottom of the page and I don't know an answer, there's usually an answer there for me also. So if you guys have any questions during this, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to let Kelly just kind of take over so we don't take up too much of your time. And let's get started.
Yeah, well, welcome everyone. Thank you, Joey. I'm excited we're put this together. So, I want to share a little bit about what is LEMD, maybe what is a peptide, and then I'll share a little bit about what my story is, and then we'll have Brittany share a little of her story. So, first off, my background is in pharmaceuticals. So, interesting enough, when I came upon LEMD, I was very intrigued. And LEMD is owned by a one female named Honey Sagari, who is such just a delight. Her heart is truly in the right place and really bringing the world of longevity peptides and serving the community in such a way from an educational standpoint and a preventative longevity healthcare standpoint. If you think about where we're at in our world, we're in a sick care system, right? We go to the doctor, we're getting all different things treated, cardiovascular care. I mean, you go to the doctor and it's like, how can I fix this? Let me give you a medicine for this. And then it causes this side effect and all of these things. Whereas if we just took really good care of ourselves and really looked at the future and healing ourselves and doing things to prevent us being sick, then our world would be in a different place. But that is honestly not where we're at. We're changing as a culture, but it's not where we're at. So, Honey Sagari, the owner and the founder of LEMD, she was an immigrant to the country when she was 6 years old. Her parents moved here and actually to Greenville, South Carolina, where Brittany is located. And they ended up moving around, but she was in a 55 and older community. They did not know anything about a 55 and older community, but there is this sweet little girl going through elementary school, going through middle school with people who were aging. And by the time she got to high school, she was attending more funerals than she was attending birthday parties. And her mission in life was, how do I keep my friends around longer? And that is why she went into longevity healthcare space. So she is an Ivy League graduate, she is a biochemist, and she has been in telehealth platforms, home health medicine, serving the elderly, and then also really truly preventing. As she's spending her time in the elderly community, she's like, it's hard to impact people's lives when they're here. We've got to start younger. We got to start really, fixing our health when we're younger. And that's where LEMD came into play. So that is our mission here, is all about education, all about getting what used to be peptides for the rich and famous and people who really can afford it. It's getting it into the hands of a normal mom like myself. And so LEMD is a company that I trust, I stand behind, being in the healthcare world for over 25 years. So, my personal background, I'm going to share my screen because I love a good visual. And I do think sometimes people would see what someone looks like now, thinking like, oh, you don't know what it is like to feel a certain way, to be a certain way, like as far as a certain size. And so I want to just talk to you a little bit about the girl on the left. Okay. The girl on the left was working out a lot. She was, taking really good care of herself. I had a brain tumor about 10 years ago, and this photo was taken several years after that. I was totally fine, but that brain tumor sparked me into taking better care of myself. I'm a mom of two girls. I want to be a good role model for them. I was a college athlete. You guys, I knew what to do and I was doing what I thought was the best. I was working out. I'm not a dieter because it's a mental thing for me. If I restrict myself, I just want it more. So I learned that I could not diet, but I ate well. Like I wasn't over there eating terrible. But look at the inflammation in my body. I would definitely describe me as fluffy, and I was very comfortable in that space. And then I saw friends of mine sharing their stories about their lives being impacted by different peptides, specifically a GLP-1 peptide. And so I'm thinking, as I'm watching them, I'm going through the process, man, I'm walking into my closet. If you've ever had this feeling, which almost probably every woman has at some point, I'm walking into my closet, going out for a girls' night or maybe a date night with my husband. And I literally have tried on 4 or 5 outfits. And by the time it's time to go out, I feel terrible about myself because my jeans are too tight or I'm trying to hide this little bit of extra fluff. And it really would ruin my mood. Maybe I would get on the scale or I would put on like my favorite dress and it didn't fit well. And you guys, it wasn't just about the weight. It was about my confidence. It was about the way that I felt and the way I showed up in my life, knowing that I truly wanted more for me. I wanted to be in the best health that I could. But I didn't know why. I didn't know how. I'm like, I'm doing all the things that I know are good for me. So enter the world of peptides. And I decided, why not? Like if other people are losing weight, why can I not? It will be a jump start. It's the plug into the system. It's that extra little edge that I need because I'm doing all these right things. So my initial goal was 20 pounds. And I will tell you, I lost 20 pounds and then I looked and I did not look like the girl on the right. I said, a little fluffier than I thought I was. But I never truly gave myself more than that because 20 pounds was so much. And I'd gotten there and yo-yoed back and forth, but I never moved past that needle. And I said, I've got this incredible tool that is helping me so much. Let's get to a healthy weight. And so I ultimately lost 33 pounds, which is the difference between these photos. But what I want to tell you is it wasn't just about the weight. 33 pounds is incredible. I'm so happy about it. But it was more about walking back into that closet. Remember, I said like it would, my mood, I would change outfits. Now I get out of the shower and I walk into the closet and I am so elated because things fit me so good. I'm able to slide on those jeans and I had to buy new jeans because the jeans don't fit anymore. And trust me, I was like, this is exciting. I get to upgrade my fashion. I get to just do things and I walk out and now I put on an outfit and I need one outfit because it fits me. And I walk out and I go to that same girls' night or that same dinner with my husband, and my mood isn't shifted. I feel good about myself. I'm not shaming my own self. And the other thing that I have to share that you cannot see in this photo is food noise. And if you've ever heard anything about food noise, I never knew what it was until I didn't have it anymore. I do believe, looking back on my life, I have struggled with food noise probably since I was a teenager. And so, food noise for me is just constantly thinking about what the next meal is. I would eat when I'm not hungry. I'm a procrastination eater. I'm a stressful eater. I'm a boredom eater. I'm like, oh, like I'm feeling emotional about something. Let me go get some chips. Okay. And it wasn't like I was eating, I was eating things, maybe I would have an apple, but a lot of times when in those emotional times, I was eating things that weren't fueling my body properly. So this really eliminated that. And when it goes away, it truly allowed me to deal with some of the emotional things that like, why did I lean on food? And it really allowed me to heal a lot of those things that I never even knew I had, which has been a complete game changer for me. So I share all of that because there's hope in it. And if you are someone who is maybe feeling like that girl on the left, you're kind of feeling like, hey, I'm a little fluffy. Or I just need that jump start. I'm doing all the right things, but I'm in perimenopause or I'm in menopause or I'm post-menopause. It's harder that when we get older, it is so much harder to get that jump start. And the GLP-1 is an incredible resource. It is incredible. Just come alongside me and be my BFF and help me get there. Since then, I will tell you, I have been at my weight loss goal for about 9 months and I have maintained with no problem. I personally have chose to microdose tirzepatide. And what microdosing is it's a little bit different for everyone. But for me, it is an itty bitty amount. I'm actually taking a third of what the starting dose is, and I take it once a week. part of why I do that, because I am a little nerd and like all the education, is I have Alzheimer's and dementia in my family. I also have cardiovascular disease in my family. And there's a lot of research that help talks about the inflammation reduction and how this can play a key role in so many systems in our body, and those being part of it. I want to do everything I can to not only live the best life I can right now, but I want to live the best life when my kids, are in their 20s and they get married and they have children and I am able to run around with them. I want to be alive and feel great shape for that. So that's a little bit about my GLP-1. I'll mention really quick before I toss it over to Brittany is I have also added on other peptides. I love NAD plus. I love it for the mood enhancement, the energy, the immune support. I have ADHD, if you know, you know. And it keeps me sitting down still for a solid hour, which is like a huge win because I can't sit
Yeah.
still. And I love the fact that it gives me that focus. I love glutathione. I love the Wolverine stack. There are so many other peptides. So maybe you're listening to this and you're like, like I've got my weight under control, or I'm not a buy-in for a GLP-1. Get educated. Ask Joey, ask whoever sent this video to you specifically about the other peptides that are out there, because you guys, there are over 7,000 peptides. All right. We don't carry all of those at LEMD, but we carry the most popular ones that people are using on a daily basis. So get educated about it. It is definitely something that can help you. So, Brittany, I'd love to toss it over to you next.
That was
Yeah,
wonderful,
that
Kelly.
was so good. My name is Brittany, and I am on a GLP journey myself. Originally, I would just go back to 2012. I got married, and I was at what I would consider my dream weight at that time. And obviously, I was 24 and had no clue how easy the weight would pile on from there between working night shift as an ER nurse and then changing shifts even to day shift, the stress of being an ER nurse, and I guess just the working in healthcare in general and watching healthcare evolve, and obviously like the stress of taking care of many patients at one time. I would stress eat. So I would leave work and I would eat at times that were not even meal times. And I would, even when I worked night shift, I was eating multiple times throughout the night. I couldn't figure out when the real meal times were. So I just created really unhealthy habits with food. I would snack on a lot of candy and pour sweets that I didn't need. And it created a sweet tooth within me, and ultimately has led to my weight gain over the years. So since 2012, I've gained around 100 pounds. And so when I stepped on the scale last year and realized what I weighed, I was just like, how did I get here? Like, I'm now in my 30s and it is harder to lose the weight. And after three children and looking in the mirror and not recognizing who I am was a really tough situation for me. When I started a GLP, I won't even say what weight I was at. However, I'm currently down almost 60 pounds. So I'm just really thankful for where I am. And like Kelly says, I have all the sizes in the closet because I guess I still dream that, maybe one day I will be back to the weight that I was on my wedding day. Even though those clothes are a little out of style now, I still am hoping that one day those jeans will fit again. But walking into the closet, it resonates with me, Kelly, because I have struggled so much with not even wanting to go out to dinner with my friends, not even wanting to go out to dinner with my husband, going on date night, my mood shift just because of my weight gain over the years and looking at myself like, who is this girl? And, ultimately I've had three beautiful children along the way, and it wasn't just from stress eating along the way. It obviously was all the things combined, but also that along with insulin resistance, autoimmune disease, high blood pressure, all the things that have come about as along with the weight gain. So that's kind of the reason why I want to use a GLP, is because obviously it decreases the inflammation. It helps with the neuroprotection, the cardiovascular protection, and all the studies that are coming out. I just think in the next 10 years, it's going to be really cool to look back and see that we were kind of a part of this study that's been going on for the last 20 years that, we just kind of added to the evidence to produce, for the years to come. So people can say, okay, peptides are the future, and so, but GLPs have certainly given me my confidence back it is for me not a crutch. It's definitely something that helps me be able to lose the weight. Being able to step on the scale and it is going down. It might be slow. It might not be more than a pound a week, but you know what? It's dropping. And it's allowed me to even feel comfortable enough to sit in front of this camera and talk to y'all because even just 4 months ago, the Brittany who was on the other side of this camera wouldn't have been the same person. So I'm just so thankful to get that back. And I can't wait to see once I am at my weight loss goal what that'll look like. But ultimately, like this is just to say that you're not alone if you're struggling in your weight because your weight certainly doesn't define you. Although it definitely related and it relates to me and my confidence level and how I feel about myself and going about every single day as a mom and a wife and a friend. So
I think
um,
that's wonderful. That's so good. Oh, you girls, I just love you both.
love you too.
And you know what I love about this is that, is it okay that I hop in?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What I love about this, first of all, I'm just so blessed to have met them and to be a part of this company, but everybody here has a story. Everybody here has something that truly from their heart has changed them and brought them into peptides, right? So for me, what it was, my whole life, and my mom can, she's on here, she can attest to this. I was always thin. I was never obese or anything like that. But I got to the point in my life where you have kids, you have stress. And then I found out in 2022 that, my father had stage 4 cancer. He was my absolute best friend in the whole wide world. And that was a whole other, I mean, that was a whole next level. So there was a lot of stress eating. There was a lot of that going on because even for that moment while I'm chewing, like I'm forgetting, right? I'm forgetting all of that pain just for that moment. So food was definitely comfort. It was even comfort before that, to be honest with you, because with my family, we love one another through food, right? We gather through food, and I think that's great. I think it's great, but I didn't know when to cut it off because when you're eating those things, again, insulin resistance, I can't talk, but you're getting those sugar cravings too. You have that addiction to sugar, and it leads to all of those other bad habits with eating. So, dealing with my father having cancer and then finding out during his cancer treatment that he was BRCA2 positive, which is a gene mutation. And it was, in fact, in his blood and not in his tumor, which meant that his children had to get tested for that same gene. And myself and two other of my sisters, so 3 out of 4 of us, also tested positive. And so for us, that meant increased chances of breast cancer and ovarian cancer, amongst other cancers. But those were 2 things that we could fix. So a very hard conversation was had between myself and my gynecologist, and I had to have a double mastectomy, a complete hysterectomy, forced into menopause at the age of 41. And all that I say this, I don't ask for pity because I really feel like all of those things, as bad as they were, really set your path for what it is supposed to be. There's something positive out of something bad, always, even if we can't see it right away. So, instant menopause, dealing with my father, and who we ended up losing in October of last year, lot. Everything was out of control. I had no control over anything. So I'm taking off my clothes. I'm looking at my new body and I'm thinking, who are you? I mean, you're just completely redefining yourself mentally, emotionally. My life was different. Now I don't have my dad. It was too much. So what could I control? What could I fix? And I saw one of my friends. It's just so funny how things happen. I saw one of my friends and I'm like, wow, you look great. Like I hadn't seen her in a while. You look fantastic. And I'm so glad that she shared that she was doing a GLP-1 medication. That day changed my life. That's before I knew about LEMD. It changed my life. That was the one thing that I could control. And I said, I'm going to invest in myself. And that was a real hard choice. And when people come to me and say, Joey, it's really expensive. Yeah, I get it, but it's worth it. It's the best money I have ever spent, hands down. Because what it does is it gets back your confidence. And I think that we as women, like you said, Brittany, it's not that, you rely on your weight or that number on the scale, but there is something about the closet. There's something about getting into those clothes. There is something about saying, it doesn't bother me to walk a mile because I'm not carrying that extra weight. It doesn't bother me, to go try on jeans in the store. It's really a mental thing before it is a physical thing. I think
Absolutely.
that's a hill I would die on. I really feel like for women, it's a mental thing versus a physical thing, right? So when I took that, there was such power in making that decision And the fact that I can talk to other people and say, this is the path I've been down. It was a really difficult path, but it also had its blessings because now I feel like I can carry my father's story and we can talk about what's a BRCA2 gene mutation. I can help people get tested. That's a blessing. And then I can also say, I was really down. I put on a ton of weight. I was figuring out my body. I was figuring out menopause. I didn't know what would work. I didn't know what would help me, but I found something. And there's hope. And this is what I can do for you. This is how I can help you. And I'm just so glad that I found this company. It's just so funny. I really asked God, like, please just put something in front of me because I didn't know what it was, but I was different. I taught for over 10 years in the classroom. I made resources for teachers for years. It was very successful, but I was different, mind, body, and soul. And I had to find something. And I did. And I did. And I cannot tell you, and it leads back to my girls here. I feel so connected on a whole other level. And it's just so funny because our GLP-1 journey, who knew? Who knew that it would bring me here? Who knew? And I just hope that, all the struggles that we went through, we can say things might be hard now and things might seem hopeless. But there's something you can control. And again, I liked how I think it was you, Kelly, that was talking about there are other peptides, right? So I'm just at the brink of, oh, thank you, Kristen. She said this is so powerful. And it is so powerful. I mean, there's just so much passion here, just in this small gathering. And I'm very passionate to tell people about it because there are other peptides. And like I said, I'm just at the brink of figuring out what all of those are, but I'm so excited to learn. I'm so excited to learn. I'm so excited to learn about NAD plus. Samorelin, I know my other sister who had to have a double mastectomy, she's taking Samorelin. She had to lose. She was very heavy, very, very heavy. And I think, Mom, and you could even chime in if you wanted to, but she's lost, I think, about 100 pounds and she still has weight to get off. So she was on a GLP-1, lost all that weight. You want to talk about gaining self-confidence. Wow, right? So my point is that there is hope. And I'm so thrilled to be a part of LEMD with all of you to share these hard stories and to say you can come out on the other side and there is hope. There is feeling good about going into that closet and the food
Absolutely.
noise, having power over that food noise is so big. I remember when I was in the kitchen, honest to God, I'll never forget. It was the first week I was on tirzepatide, which I know can I say that? Can I say at the time that's what I was taking. Okay. GLP-1 peptide. Okay. I was taking that and I was standing in the kitchen. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't care to go in the pantry. I don't care to see what's in the fridge. Like, I'm good. I feel good. I'm going to go have, a Celsius or we're going to have a water. I feel great. That was huge for me. I'm like, this is a freaking win. This is amazing. So that in and of itself was a win for me. And I know we're only down to 3 minutes and 33 seconds. So we're going to just I know Kristen and my mom are the only two here right now, and that's okay. We're going to have a replay. We did this last minute. It's totally fine that there's, not a room full of people because it will come. We're going to pass this on to
Yes.
everybody so they can watch it. So certainly if you have questions, you can ask. But otherwise hi mama, that's my mom. There she went. There she is. But we can certainly answer questions for you if you're watching this on the replay. We are here and happy to help and to serve and truly are coming from a place of love and support without judgment. And I think a lot of women feel judged when it comes to, their health and wellness, especially weight loss, right? There's no judgment here. None at all. There's only love and support. So I hope that we always make people feel that way in this space.
100%. I know one thing that a lot of people probably want to know is like, where are we going with our pharmacies and what does that look like moving forward with all the FDA changes? And just from an LEMD perspective, we do source from some of the best pharmacies that are patient specific prescriptions, and peptides. So that comes from our providers who decide what the patient needs, and then they pass that on to the pharmacy, the prescription to the pharmacy, and the pharmacy formulates that, and it goes straight directly to the patient. So as of now, business as usual for us. As we say, it will be different formularies for patient specific and different as the regulations have changed. But at LEMD, we have access to peptides and we're excited to offer them to everybody else.
Yes. And I know Kelly was talking about Honey, the owner. I just want to tell you guys, I've known her for a short time. And from the second that I met her, her passion for this, her true
Incredible.
heart and passion It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And really, I think that everything starts at the top, no matter what organization it is. And if we always have her as our heartbeat to the company, I think that we'll be in a good place. I do. I definitely do. But thank you
Well,
guys.
I just want to add, a lot of times people say like, why Ellie? I can get a GLP-1 from somewhere. There's so many reasons that they just talked about, but I also want to just talk about the community and the support.
Mhm.
There is an amazing Facebook group that you get to be a part of and be a fly on the wall or ask questions. Just the educational series every Thursday night, we bring on a specialist. For example, tomorrow's a cardiologist talking specifically about cardiac prevention and how peptides play a role in that. And so we're constantly serving out that mission of education. So, Joey, thank you so much for putting this together.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Gonna
well,
be-
really, it was kind of Brittany. I think it was kind of all of us. We all did it. So,
Yeah.
yay to all of us. I always have so much fun talking to you guys. It's always a pleasure. So, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Big hugs to all of you. I love you all. And yeah, it's gonna shut us off here soon. So we'll do this again. I would love to do this again, and maybe
Yes.
we'll have a bigger crowd. But I loved our crowd tonight. It was perfect. All
yes. Thank you guys.
right,
Have
bye,
Thank y'all so much.
girl. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.